guy is carelessly in love, but he's about to be in a whole lot of trouble with his landlord. Now, his name is Emeka, and Emeka is 36, living in Lagos, and he serves his country diligently. You know, NYSC type shit. And he's also a sharp guy who will actually get to that in a minute though. So one day, when everyone wasn't around in the compound, except for his landlord's third wife, let's call her Halima, and their generator actually died during that hot afternoon. So she had to look around and check who's around to actually help her with the generator. That very day, Emeka happened to be at home, relaxing, and actually not doing any of his NYSC duties. So she went and knocked on Emeka's door, and Emeka, on the other hand, was actually a very handsome, fair guy. After Emeka tried his best, he still wasn't able to actually repair the generator. So along the line, Halima politely asked Emeka to borrow her his power bank just so she can actually call a proper engineer to come check the generator. Now, while this whole thing was going on, he fell into an easygoing conversation. Conversations about Emeka's posting, about how she didn't want to actually, get married that early. Here's where things get a little bit tricky. With time, the generator started having problems, and Emeka had to be the go-to guy to actually get power banks. The landlord, let's call him Chief Adeboye, he started noticing how Halima used the generator as an excuse to hang out with Emeka, and they were talking and gisting and laughing in the compound. So one night, Halima was actually in need and in a very dire state of being touched. But that night happens to be the turn of the second wife. Halima thought of Emeka that very moment. She had to knock on his door, and Emeka opened the door. They had a very good time that night. Months later, Halima became pregnant. Things goes by. Halima successfully gave birth. And he has already has doubts about Halima and Emeka's hanging around every now and then. Now, the very next day, Halima came back from the hospital with the child. Chief Adeboye has already set a little trap for them. Now, why Emeka wasn't aware that was his child was because Halima never told Emeka that he was the father of the child, even though she was aware of what has happened that very night. Unfortunately for Halima, that very day, after the whole congratulations and everything else, she didn't know that Chief Adeboye already planted some talk boys in the compound just to be on the lookout if anything was to happen. And that very night, she sneaked into Emeka's room to actually confess everything to Emeka, because she knew Emeka was confused and has his suspicions that that child could have been his. So when she went into the room, she told Emeka everything. And before Halima could step out of Emeka's room, Chief Adeboye and those thugs were already standing outside waiting for them. And just like that, they were able to apprehend Emeka and Halima that very night. Things actually get a little bit sad. Emeka was apprehended and was beaten to stupor. You know how Nigerian people handle criminals. Now, Emeka isn't a criminal. He just happened to be wrong place at the wrong time. And after this was happening, the police arrived and they took Emeka away. That was just the only saving grace that Emeka had. Now, what happened to Halima, I didn't know. What happened to the child, we didn't know. Later on, Emeka was released and he never stepped foot in that area. He's still on the lookout for Halima and his child. And also, Emeka happens to be in the comment section. So whatever you guys will be saying, trust me, Emeka will be reading.